Hey, how's it going?
Hello, you guys.
Hello.
Howdy.
So this is Off the Record podcast. I'm joined with my partner Rob, and today we have the band Moonshot. How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
It's
Pretty
going.
good.
All right.
Pretty well.
All right, so this is one of the Texas bands here. I know we've been having a few Floridas in a row, but just want to let you know what Texas is doing at this moment. So, guys, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, we can start with you, Jason.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jason. I play drums.
My name's Josh. I play the lead guitar.
I'm Lantry. I sing and I play guitar.
And I'm Perry, and I play bass and I sing occasionally.
Yeah.
Well, definitely thank you guys for being here. Excited. You know, I know I personally know y'all, and I've really been following y'all. I guess maybe not from the very, very beginning,
Just
but
about.
just about. Okay,
It's all right. I haven't either.
yeah. but I've been excited to see y'all grow. You know, do some awesome shows here and there. So of course we'll talk about what the future holds, some of your influences, things you've got working in the future here. But yeah, so again, talk what y'all want to talk about. But we'll go ahead and start here. As far as give us a little bit of background about the band, when it kind of first started, and what kind of style of music do y'all do?
So it started actually even pre-COVID, really. I was in a band with an old buddy of mine who introduced me to Jason at our very first show. We played at the Paper Tiger. And when I met Jason, we didn't have a drummer at the time. I said, "Hey, Jason, nice to meet you. Nate tells me you play drums. Band practice is on Monday, and we'll see you at 5 o'clock or whenever it was." And I mean, pretty much from that point forward, the rest is history. Jason and I were in another quote-unquote iteration of the project called Bad Coffee for a while. We did that for probably 2 years, I think. And then when Bad Coffee sort of fizzled out, we picked up Josh and Perry.
Not in that order.
Actually, yeah, Perry then Josh, and I mean the rest is history. At that point, I mean we've been playing together. I think the four of us going probably about 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Close to it.
3 years.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been Moonshot, and this is where we're at the moment.
Awesome. Any particular reason for the band name?
So we couldn't think of one actually for a while, and I had been watching that show Silicon Valley, and it was just something that jumped out at me, and I was like, "Hey, what about this?" It basically, the idea is that a moonshot is you're aiming for the stars to hope that you at least land on the moon, and so that's sort of where we came up with that. I thought it was a silly nod to a show that I think is funny, and on top of that, I mean it's kind of apt at the same time.
I honestly thought it was a Borderlands reference at first.
No, actually, that's a pretty good meaning. The little purpose. Not just throwing out things like rotten meat. Or
Oh yeah.
and
That's the next one.
My first was Sausage Assassin. That was great.
Nice. So I have to admit, at first I misread the font was so small, so teeny tiny, and this isn't a dig at all, but I misread. I thought it said moon snot, and I'm like,
Oh, it's okay. We call ourselves Moon Shit sometimes, so it's perfectly all right.
Harry put that on one of our YouTube videos on accident once, and I wanted to just leave it there.
It was great. It was great.
It was the cover band.
Yeah.
All right. So, as far as let's talk a little bit about y'all's influences, and starting with the drummer. I think that's the soul of the band. What got you started drumming, and any influences that you kind of practice to?
Oh, yeah, many. What got me started was basically Jimmy Chamberlain from Smashing Pumpkins. He was probably like the one I really wanted to sound like back in that I was sixth grade, I think. I didn't actually start playing drums till about, I was like maybe 20, 21. But I mean, shit, everybody from Metallica to Rush, Dream Theater, Van Halen, all the biggies.
You you picked some technical drummers there.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn.
You're trying
to
Well,
as long
that's
as you set your bar up here, you keep growing.
you know, you can only bang those drums so many times, but having some technical, especially with y'all's type of music, definitely it brings it out quite a bit. All right, Josh, I know you're the lead. Any particular guitars? Or...
I grew up playing Guitar Hero a lot. Like, it was my favorite game ever. And so naturally that just shifted over me wanting to pick up guitar, especially because I played violin like throughout all of my high school tenure. And so it wasn't until I listened to the Rust in Peace album, Megadeth, that was really like that really shined for me. Marty Friedman is just fantastic. I went back to listen to some of his older stuff with who was it, Jason Becker? I think that's who he had the other band with. And so like, yeah, a lot of like Marty's more technical, really out there playing, like, because I know he has a lot of prog influences. It really spoke to me. Just, I guess the whole like shreddy thing really spoke to me at first. As I branched out, I got a little more into like jazz, and so that's really been like picking it up for me lately.
No, it's a good mixture. You know, they have definitely their influences with metal. You know, as far as that goes. So, a lot of guitar players like to know what kind of equipment do you use?
My personal equipment that I had was a Jackson, a King Rhodes into a Marshall, and that was my little niche right there.
Okay.
Jackson into Marshall, just that whole '90s era sound for like thrash.
Yeah.
That's what I really enjoy.
That makes sense. All right, and Mr. Landry.
Wait. Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt. All right, so Josh,
Yes, sir.
I was watching one of your guys' videos and I saw you playing a Hagstrom.
Hagstrom is actually Perry's.
Yeah, that is a Hagstrom Phantoman. That is the signature guitar of the band Ghost.
Yes.
I always really liked. I've always been a big fan of the Firebird body shape, and
Yes.
I wanted to learn to play guitar, but every time I tried to play my Strat, it felt like it was just too small, and my arms would cramp up. So I needed something a little bit wider, and the Hagstrom ended up being that for me. And that thing, it plays beautifully. Josh could probably tell you more about it than I could.
I've had my eye on that guitar for fucking years. Perry, exactly like you said. The Nameless Ghouls play Hagstrom guitars, the Phantom. They also play the black one. I think that's the Custom.
It's also a Phantom,
Yeah.
and it's just a different color.
Gotcha. But yeah, so whenever I saw you guys playing, I was like, no, seriously, I've had my eye on that guitar for years. It's like an $800, $900 guitar.
I think I got mine off Reverb for like $770, just after COVID ended.
Oh, I've seen it going for like $300-$400 on eBay, but
You can't trust eBay, man.
Yeah.
You never know what you're gonna get.
The first act.
Right. I just can't justify shelling out that kind of money yet.
For a Hagstrom, it's absolutely worth it. I love it just as much as I loved playing my Jackson. I loved him for two different reasons. The Jackson, it was a bit of a smaller, tighter bridge, so I was able to glide across strings easier. For the Hagstrom, it has a much richer sound, in my opinion. Those pickups are fantastic, and especially how you can switch between a dead pickup and a live pickup. It works almost like a kill switch. It's fantastic. You get a lot of versatility.
That's really cool.
A lot of versatility with it.
I might have to rethink my finances right now.
Now that you've heard about it, got the
right?
personal testimony, you have no excuse.
And so now, whenever my girlfriend questions my spending habits, I have somebody to blame now. So thank you.
Stop fucking Josh.
To answer that question that popped up for strings, I like hybrid. I like heavy 3 bottom and a light 3 top. It allows me to get that really deep, strong sound with chords while still being able to keep that real pretty light sound when you're doing more melodies or solos.
Yes, exactly.
Sounds like y'all should have y'all's own chat somewhere else. Broke the guitars. Sorry, I brought up the question.
Apologies for the interruption. I've been saving that. And
Yeah.
About it. Yeah.
It's all good. All good. All right. Now, without any further interruption.
I've been waiting. No, I'm kidding. No, so for me, the band that got me to pick up guitar and singing, which I actually kind of did, I would say simultaneously, was actually Josh and I were talking about this band on the way here, was Stone Sour. Corey Taylor, for whatever reason, I mean, especially when Jim Root was still in the band, something about what they were doing really jumped out to me. And I was like, you know, we have this acoustic guitar that's been sitting in the house for forever. No one plays it. I'm going to play it. And so I just picked it up. I started looking up, you know, all the stuff on Ultimate Guitar back in the day. I would, you know, I taught myself how to read tabs and the quote unquote bullshit way. But I taught myself how to read tabs and chords. I mean, I just started with simple acoustic
Started with
songs.
hot cross buns.
I skipped that because I didn't. I couldn't bring myself to do fundamentals, which is really bad. And I mean, that's biting me in the ass now. But you know, as a kid, I'll be like, "Oh, Dad, look what I learned! I can play Through Glass." You know, and he goes, "Oh, that's cool." And I mean, from that point, I mean, I was really into that kind of, I guess, era of music, like now considered dad rock. And then actually, I worked my way backwards from that. I got really into grunge for a while, especially Stone Temple Pilots, particularly. I love Scott Weiland as a singer. I can't name a single other person in that band. I'm really bad at knowing people in bands to the point where I've gone to music festivals and I've met people who are in some of the bands I've listened to my entire life. Don't know their names. And thankfully they're all nice about it. But yeah, I mean, grunge really jumped out to me. And actually, when we were doing Bad Coffee, that was primarily the sort of the sound that we were going for was kind of that Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam kind of you know, mid-90s sound. That's just what spoke to me.
Okay. Any particular guitar that you play?
So I actually have another signature guitar. I have a GNL Jerry Cantrell signature. It's what is the model? It's called a Super Hawk, and kind of similar to the Hagstrom. It's got a pretty wide neck on it, which, and I mean, honestly, I'm the worst person to ask about gear because I'm like, all I know is it sounds good.
Yeah.
And I mean, I absolutely love Alice in Chains. So when a buddy of mine, actually the old guitar player, when we were in Bad Coffee, we traded guitars, and this is what I ended up with. And I've just never looked back. I don't have any plans on ever getting rid of it. Or
I saw it. I think you showed it to me when you first got it.
That's possible.
Here, is it the blue one?
Yep.
Yeah. Then it's a really nice one.
Yeah.
I'm actually really glad
That was Tristan's guitar.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually real glad that was brought up because I was watching your videos and I saw your GNL. Excuse me, I saw the GNL and I totally thought that was an Ernie Wall. I was kind of curious myself. So
I think that's what I thought the first time I saw it too.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like an Ernie Ball from a distance.
Yeah, and then you won't admit it, but he does a really good karaoke. Stone Temple Pilots. I've seen him.
Okay, wait a minute. All right, so what is your favorite STP karaoke song? Go.
Plush.
That is the right answer.
that was a softball question. That's the only answer.
You just teed it up for it.
Yeah. And the good news is you win absolutely nothing.
All right, and then not forgetting Perry. So, when did you start playing bass? Influences and tell us about your equipment.
I think I started playing bass about 6 or 7 years ago. I had been playing when I was like 4 years old. My grandmother taught me how to play the piano. I have since forgotten, and And then when I was in junior high and high school, I did the whole concert and marching band thing. I played the French horn, had a great time with that. And then before the senior year of high school, so I guess it would have been 2018 is when I started, an acoustic bass guitar just kind of fell into my lap, and I taught myself to play on that. Basically the same way Lantry did. I just went and started looking up tabs and stuff. I taught myself wrong and had to reteach myself after 2 months of playing very, very wrong. And I've been going ever since. As far as the song that made me interested in playing bass, or I guess the very first influence I had, because I've always enjoyed listening to the bass in songs, but Don't Fear the Reaper, the bass line in Don't Fear the Reaper always stuck out to me. I love that song. I can't really say I know that much Blue Oyster Cult. I know like the hits and stuff, but I haven't really gone down that particular rabbit hole because I ended up getting caught up with Muse and then Rush. And lately, as much to Josh's chagrin, I've been really into Coheed and Cambria for the past like 2.5 years, basically as long as I've been in this band. I haven't managed to get past them yet.
That's awesome. And then what kind of bass do you play?
Primarily, I play a Squire jazz bass. The specific model, if anybody cares, is the HH Contemporary 2016 jazz bass. I love that thing. It's great. I can't complain about it. It died on me once, and I missed it for like the 6 months it was gone. It's an active bass. It's the one actually in my little icon there, if you can see it. It's an active bass. And the battery compartment just detached, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with it for months until I handed it off to my best friend's dad, and he's like, "Yeah, this is all that was wrong with it, you dumbass."
Well, you're not alone. You got another Coheed fan here. The guy's name's
Hell
Ryan.
yeah, Ryan Mahoney.
He's from Florida. If you ever check out his Facebook, he's an awesome guitar player. So every Florida band that we've interviewed always mentions him without us having to mention him. So that should tell you. So thank you for joining us, Ryan. Appreciate it every single time here.
And funny enough, I think my most recent influence is not even the bass players of that band. It's their rhythm guitarist, vocalist, Claudio Sanchez. That dude is just a phenomenal musician.
Yeah, you don't have to play their instrument or sing, to really respect their musicianship, their talent. So that's an influence itself there, So no, it's good to listen to everything besides your own instrument. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I play piano, but I love hearing awesome guitar players, drummers. It gets you want to be motivated to go back and let me practice some more. Let me write some new music. Let me get in that studio. So. No, it's good to get yourself well-rounded, with the other musicians on there.
Absolutely, especially since I picked up vocals too.
Oh, okay. I heard, yeah. If anything, this band, they all have talent to sing. Their instruments, they're solid. So they're growing quite a bit. So that's why I've been impressed and glad they were on tonight, so people get to know on here.
Jason's singing voice is too powerful. That's why he's on drums.
Yeah, he had to keep duct tape over his mouth during shows.
Right. Well, as far as I heard y'all have a show coming up.
We do on Friday.
Okay. Give us a little bit of background. What kind of show it is? What type? Is it all primarily one type of style of music, or is it more of a festival with different?
So
it's just local bands, right?
Yeah, it's all local bands. I mean, you could call it a festival because I think there's like
8 bands.
No, there's more than that. It's like 15 bands or something like that.
Jesus.
But, actually, we're what I would consider is the quote unquote softest band on the bill if you had to pick one. The reason that we even did this show actually is because I have some buddies in a local hardcore band here called Shutout. And I used to play shows with their old band back in the day, and we've been trying to do something recently. And randomly, the people that run the venue just messaged both of us and were like, "Hey, let's just do something together." And so we were like, "Yeah, why not?" And so we jumped on a bill with them, and I mean that's pretty much all there is to it. But I mean, I'm very excited. I think it's fun to play with. I mean, it's always interesting to play with the different bands that we do.
Oh,
I mean, we'll jump from doing a show with all emo bands to doing a show with all hardcore and metal bands, and I feel like we kind of fit right in the middle to where we're just heavy enough for the metal shows and we're just soft enough, for the emo sort of crowd as well. So it kind of just works out for us, so we can kind of hop on anything.
It's kind of like back in 2022, the few times we played Brick, like that setup was just all over the place.
Oh yeah,
You had people that were playing like a little more jazzier stuff. Then you had blues, and then you had a little bit of punk. And then
You talking about the art complex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I remember.
Yeah, you came to a few of our Brick shows. I think
Yeah.
we were there 3 times.
we've been there. I maybe only 2, maybe 3.
I'm pretty sure it was 3 times.
Yeah, we've been there a handful.
The acoustics kind of.
Yeah, the acoustics leave a little to be wanted.
Right.
It's built like
But-
a dome.
Yeah. It's all cinder
Everything
blocks.
bounces all over
Yeah.
off of the ceiling.
Cool place though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
For a band as loud as us, though, it's always weird.
Anybody know Jessica?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
just
yeah. His eyes got big.
It's
like,
basically
what I-
skinny me
what I
run for
do.
his money.
Where's she at? Where's she at? Any relation?
My sister.
Oh, okay. Hi, sister. Hey, Jason. All right. Oh, that's a big compliment she gives you.
Yeah.
So y'all must have a good relationship, I
Oh,
guess,
yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Like, no, you play like Animal from the Muppets. Yeah. Oh, they're cool. Then,
it's like a modern day Lars Ulrich.
there you go.
Oh man.
Six.
I mean, Lars sure is one of the drummers in the world.
Yeah.
He is.
But the Rock Box, that's a pretty good venue to play. I mean, they get big touring acts, good sound, so that's the place. If you're a local band, that is a hell of a place to, show your talent out there.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
yeah, they run things pretty professional.
Some of the best sound I think that we've had has
Oh,
been-
absolutely.
Jason and I we played with Moonshot. We played there once,
So far.
but Jason and I had played there maybe only one other time. Honestly,
I think we've done the Rock Box like 3 times.
yeah,
What-
some of the best sound that I've
What was
ever
the-
played with
Touring act that y'all opened up for.
recently.
Yeah.
It was
Maylene and
Maylene
the
and the
Sons
Sons-
of Disaster.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Yeah. They have a good Southern rock style. I mean, into my ears.
Letter Kills was also really good. I really enjoyed their set.
Where
His
they're
Legend
at.
was the one.
Yes.
Oh, we played with He Is Legend at Vibes, which is like connected to the Rock Box.
Yeah.
I think it's the same people.
His Legend show was pretty fun.
That was a good one too.
Yeah. I'm a little jealous. I'm trying to get my band to play there. Yeah. Well, now she's calling you out.
Yeah, seriously
It
though.
was fuel.
Jason, what's your reward if you nail the timing on
My
understanding?
tattoo, my Metallica tattoo.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Wait a minute. Do you have a Metallica tattoo?
Right?
Oh, it wasn't. I don't know.
Get a little closer.
You gotta
I
get
want
it.
to come check that
I'll pull
out.
my shorts down real quick.
Yeah. That's from the bell toes.
I have a Metallica lyric tattooed on me, but you can't.
Mhm.
You can't see that.
Just tramp stamp.
You know what? I should have went with a fucking tramp stamp. Maybe they just done
It's just
better.
gonna say Lars like right on the back.
In cursive with hearts and flowers highlighted. No, Rob won't do that. Yet. Well,
Oh,
as a matter of speaking, there is a music video. So it looks like we found one of your rehearsal, so we like it. So I know that we as musicians are our worst critics, but yeah, if y'all are ready, we love to get that shown, and yeah, let's get that on, Mr. Producer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. What was the name of that song? Just and explain like how that song came to be. Here.
So that song is called Hold Fast, and actually it was something we were playing with towards the end of Bad Coffee that we just never had really hammered out. And if I'm not mistaken, Perry would probably know this the best, but I think that was probably the first song that we really put together as Moonshot.
Not the first. I think it was actually it was like the third or fourth actually, because the first one was From the Top.
Yeah, because it was. I thought Pedestal was the first one.
Pedestal was like halfway a Bad Coffee song that we just remade.
That's a good point, actually, because it was 80s song for a long time.
It was.
So you know which band member now probably drinks the less beer or does anything because he has the best memory. I know all y'all socials. Go ahead. That's awesome, man. And I know you're practicing in Was that a storage?
It was a storage.
Yeah.
It was a storage unit.
You're not an official band unless you know. I know. I put my hours in a storage unit.
We were there for like 5 years.
Oh, for at least,
Dude, yeah.
at least 5
Yeah,
years.
At least.
Man, you got to position everything right in there to
You should have seen the first one we were in.
the 10 by 10.
We do have one video where we were in that storage unit. It was the very first one we took, and we recorded the earliest version of Pedestal that we have. And man, that playing in that unit was something else. There was no room.
Half of us were in the hallway.
It's so hot.
I was trying to get each other sick like a little preschool classroom, and all little kids are in there.
We probably
Shoot.
did. That was like at the height of COVID. We
Yeah.
probably did.
Yep.
Josh did end up with hand, foot, and mouth disease, so that was unrelated to the practice.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I had COVID.
And if one of y'all had a lot of eggs and beans before practice,
That's all.
You
this
mean,
one
yeah,
is.
that was this one right here.
He's got the worst.
Oh,
there's
man.
always the
Throwing
smallest guy in
Throwing me
the.
right under the bus.
There's nothing to digest it in the body. It goes from mouth to colon to ass.
Yeah, no, it's straight down.
Yeah. Just a kidney too. Get some water right.
I have a
Well-
question for you guys. Hi, guys, by the way. Sorry I'm
Hi,
late.
dude.
Hi.
Welcome.
How's it going?
So I do have a question for you guys. What inspired that song and the lyrics behind that song that we
So
just played?
yeah, so that song was actually, and I hate to say it now because it's so far removed at this point, but that was like a breakup song. So I started writing that song when I was really depressed from my last relationship. I'm now happily engaged, which is why I say, you know, it's been so long, and I hate to like bring that up, but
We could get them in trouble.
yeah. But no, so that, I mean, that at that point in time, that's what that song meant to me. And I was actually thinking about this today, and at this point, I think it's more of a self-reflective kind of like, well, you know what? It's a little bit more self-reflective. I'm trying to like put this into words, but it's a bit more like, what did I do versus what did somebody else do that would cause any kind of relationship. I mean, now I wouldn't say it means so much of a romantic relationship, whereas at this point in my life, there's a little bit more like family strife from, you know, and that kind of stuff is actually coming out more into what we're doing these days. And that video is a couple of years old. We still play that song. I absolutely love playing that song. But now I would say, you know, I'm no longer in the headspace of, oh, you know, this romantic relationship failed versus, oh, well, here's my issues with my family. Let me put that on paper. You know?
One thing about lyrics, especially when you get older and mature, those lyrics can mean anything, you know, for any situation. So, you know, as you said, maybe 3-4 years ago, yeah, it sucked, but now you're in a better place. You got a career going, you graduated college, right?
Yeah, very recently.
Yeah, so you got a lot of going for you. So, you know, those lyrics, you know, they mature with you. And so they can mean different
They
things.
do. It kind of,
Yeah.
it kind of meshes into whatever's going on in my life currently.
I always wonder about that. You know, there's so many bands out there that have been together for 20, 30, 40 fucking years. And, you know, a lot of the lyrics have lived through their entire career. And I always wonder, you know, what it's like singing the song that you wrote, you know, 30 years ago. Do you feel that anymore? I think a really good example of that is Eric Clapton, Tears in Heaven.
Mhm.
He doesn't play that song live anymore because he doesn't feel it. Like, he doesn't feel, I mean, of course, I'm sure he mourns whoever it was.
His son?
It was his son, yeah, 2-year-old baby.
Right. I'm sure internally he probably still mourns the death of the son. But as far as that song is concerned, I've read him say he just doesn't feel the same emotion behind that song anymore. So as such, he doesn't play it anymore.
And two of the greatest things about music too is that whatever song you write, one, there's always going to be someone that's going to relate to that song because they're going through that exact same situation that you went through. And two, the lyrics are meant to be interpreted by the person. So that song might mean one thing to you guys and you guys wrote it, but to Jason or to Rob or to me or to anybody else who listens to it, we might walk away with 5 different, meanings between 5 people. So that's one of the best things about, whenever you guys, you do write music and at the time it comes from a place of, hurt or sadness or happiness or whatever the emotion is. Somebody else might see it as, that's the best damn thing that ever happened to me, so, and that's the best part about music is it's meant to be interpreted in many different ways, and people do interpret it in many different ways. But I know I'm late to the party, but I have to say you guys are individually and even together, you guys are fucking talented. Oh my god, I just want to say that. So okay.
Thank you so much.
Of course, you guys
Harry's
are really
bass
good.
line runs in that song were pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Harry-
thank
yeah.
you very much.
Oh
Harry's
yeah.
probably
I
the
like
best
playing that
bassist
song a
I've
lot.
played with.
You can kind of tell. You like playing that song a lot. But like that guitar solo in there too, I was like, I can't get my fingers to do anything like that. Like I've tried to learn. I can't. My brain doesn't work that way. I can't do it. I can't. Like I can beat the hell out of something. So maybe be a drummer. I might be.
That's why I became a
but-
drummer. I can't play anything else.
So,
And it's honestly ironic you say that because when we did that
Mhm.
solo was 100% improv, like 100%.
oh shit, I was
What?
curious about that.
And so when I go back and I try to play that song now and I try to recreate that, in my opinion, I come just short of it every time. And I listen to it and I try to recreate it, and it's a struggle.
Can't do it. You just can't do it.
What's that one solo that Kirk Hammett can never get again? It's the Master of Puppets solo,
The Master
isn't
of
it?
Puppets. I think it is. Yeah.
Where
It
he
was the
played it-
Master of Puppets.
He got that one sound that one time, and he's never been able to recapture it.
There's another band
we
I
know.
think we interviewed. There was a band we interviewed a while back that said the exact same thing. They're like, yeah, that was a fluke, and I don't know how I did it, but it worked, and we kept it, and it ended up on the album. But I can't replicate it. I can't do it live.
Well, yeah,
And I don't remember who it was.
and I know I'm going blank myself with singers and musicians, but Pantera, the singer,
Mhm.
Phil,
yeah, they do.
Anselmo.
He cannot sing those highs anymore.
No.
Like Cemetery Gate and stuff like
Oh.
that.
Mm-mm.
He says, no, I just can't do it.
Well, before that, they were glam. So
They were.
he was hitting those high pitched notes all night, every night.
Yep.
And then
Was he still
once
wearing
they
the
got-
tight pants though? Because that really helps.
I'm sure it helped.
Or Elton
Yeah,
John.
he's not exactly singing Cemetery Gates anymore.
Yeah, no, Elton John, he had vocal surgery and had to retrain himself how to sing, but he had to bring everything. I think it was a full step down because he couldn't sing what he was singing back in the 70s and 80s.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hell, we're talking about Metallica. They wrote an E standard for fucking years, and now everything that's standard is now played in E flat. Like I said, down a step to accommodate James's vocals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know-
I mean, your
Megadeth.
voice can only take it for so long.
Right. And the one thing that never changed is he can still go, yeah.
Yeah.
Corey Taylor, you don't hear him really belt out those yells and screams anymore.
No, it's because he
Yeah.
stopped smoking cigarettes.
Oh,
That's what
Yeah.
he said. That's what he said did it for him. Is he stopped smoking cigarettes? He's like, my voice isn't as raw as it used to be, and I was like, gee, I wonder why.
Things that make you go,
yeah. Enjoy y'all's youth, guys.
It is crazy though. what
You're younger than I am, so enjoy your year or two below.
People always told me the moment you hit like mid-20s, you get some sort of like ache or pain that's just forever there. The moment I hit 25, my back was just immediately like, oh, we're 25, time to give up.
Well, that's because you're playing video games like this.
If anything, it really started when I joined trade school and I started welding and getting into those positions. I'm in awkward positions for hours a day. So when I finally stand up, it's like everything cracks in my back.
Oh, I'm stuck.
Basically.
It's that sciatica shit, man.
I can't weld this.
Ryan says a lot of Van Halen stuff is in E flat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Another sibling.
My brother.
Jason family.
all lies.
So while where did it go? It was on here. What happened to it? We had a comment and I don't see it anymore. I'm gonna have to. I don't know where it went to. Oh, there
We
it is.
made fun of Animal, and
Well, yeah, there's Animal. You can't talk. Don't talk shit about Animal. But we have. We do have Rob Knowles.
Dad.
It's Rob's dad. Said,
Hey,
"Hey, off the
Mr.
record
Knowles.
podcast. Just want to chime in. Y'all are sounding good and looking great."
Fuck yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is that Charlie?
No, that's my girlfriend's fucking phone going off right now.
Insane ringtone.
Where's the
I thought it
meow
was
Nick?
Charlie.
Get it some food.
I thought it was Charlie. I was like, "Oh, that poor baby. He just wants some lovin's."
Quiet cat.
Right?
Oh, that's funny. So, okay, there we go. All right. So one of the questions that I really, really, really wanted to ask you guys was more so about your writing process. Is it like a team collaboration? Like, do you guys just kind of get together and write together, or do you kind of individually bring stuff to the band and be like, "Hey, I have this idea," and you guys write around it?
Bit of both, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of funny the way it works. If Lantry is bringing a song to us, he kind of just shows up with a riff, and then 5 minutes later we have the beginnings of a song, and then 20 minutes later we have basically a song.
Yeah, we pumped out "Don't Cry" and "Scramble" in like one rehearsal session, and that was like what, like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
I'd say about 2 hours, probably.
Yeah, he just showed up with 2 riffs, and he was like, "Let's do this." And then he showed us what to do. We played it, and then we were like, "Yeah, that's a song."
Me and Lantry had sort of started earlier, worked on it a little bit earlier, and then brought that. And then they took it around with it.
You check the boxes: chorus, check; verses, check;
I mean, that's really what it takes. And I mean,
solo, check.
For me, it and like they keep saying, like, yeah, you have like a riff idea. I think the easiest thing to like bring it all together is once you have drums behind it, because that's kind of the driving force behind the whole thing, right?
Oh yeah.
So what I've been doing. I mean, recently what we've been doing is we'll bring some to Jason, see what he does with it, and then based on what he does, we sort of shape the rest of the sound of the song around that.
I think the song that took the longest for us to complete is absolutely Hive Mind, which was Perry's brainchild. Perry taught me it. We kind of messed around a little bit. We brought it to the guys, and we couldn't really decide where to go. And just piece by piece, it slowly fell into place. But it took us like 2 months maybe to like finally have it like from beginning to end planned out. We know where to go. We know what to do. And then after we got that done, we just moved on. I feel
like we still iterate on that song.
And then we tried on the jam. We're still working on the jam at the end.
Even Picasso didn't do it, paint it all in one day. So a little here and there, paint by numbers in there. So
definitely a lot of hours spent with me and Josh just sitting there figuring out how to play that song, man.
That was more the proggy song.
Yeah, that's our prog song. That's our. That's
I don't want to put too many expectations on that. I don't.
So if I mentioned you're going to the studio pretty soon, maybe we'll get a good, copy finally if y'all get that on the.
Yeah, that'll be included. So I don't think we had actually like talked about it. And even between the band, we're still sort of flushing out how we want to go about this. But the plan is for us to go into the studio probably within the next month or so and put down either. And I'm still torn between whether it's 10 or 11 songs, but we'll basically have a full record. We're debating also whether to release it all at once or to do 5 and 6 or 5 and 5 or however we want to
use your illusions. CD. Cool.
But yeah,
I think as
so
far as
that-
cost goes, splitting it up might be the better way to do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
We did record.
Preach on that, Perry. Man.
We did record one song, and we have it on Bandcamp, and it was on Spotify for a while. But we ourselves put a bit of a deadline on ourselves because by that point we had been out for about a year. We were just trying to get something out there, something recorded, and because of that deadline that was self-imposed, it didn't turn out quite as well as we would have liked to. So definitely going back and gonna try and re-record everything, redo it, and then like put something that's really up to our standard of quality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was actually one of my questions was, have you guys ever written something and like, you're like, man, this is going to sound great. And then you put it together and you're like, fuck that. No.
we probably a couple of times we've abandoned songs. But
We
I
had,
feel like
we had a
most-
song called the working title was the hardcore song that never went anywhere.
Oh my
Oh
god!
yeah, we beat that thing to fucking death,
Da, da,
Yeah.
da, da,
and
da, da.
we could. I just.
I didn't like that one.
A year from now, let's bring back that song that
we've randomly brought it up, but yeah, I mean, it's at the point now where I don't think any of us even remember the actual structure.
I think I know the verse.
You
That's
put a
start.
gun to my head, I could figure it out.
Just picking scabs.
We'll test that out next rehearsal.
Yeah.
You never know. You might bring it back to the table and put a little,
Yeah, right.
you know, sprinkle a little something in there, make it
Guest
what you want
star rapper on it.
Hey.
He'll be Grover. He'll be the rapper.
Just then putting a gun to Lantry's head, that's what we'll try next rehearsal.
So
I'll
fun
give you
fact,
2 bars.
I heard
I'll
rap.
give you the best 2 bars I got. You know,
So
gonna rhyme
fun
with
fact,
cat
I
and
heard
hat.
that
Something
I
like
heard that Rob could rap. Just saying.
Oh.
Oh, there we go. We're gonna bring you down to Texas just for it.
I bet that Rob's girlfriend's phone can rap.
Absolutely.
It was right on beat. I mean, it was right on time. It was right on that pocket, you know.
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. I'll stop. Childhood trauma watching the game shows at my grandma's, and those commercials came on.
All I think of is Austin Powers, Dr.
Mhm.
Evil singing it to his cat.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that tells you how old I am when it's on The Price is Right.
And
So
you know,
I heard.
Oh, good.
Oh. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I was just gonna bring up a stupid comment to Perry's Austin Power thing.
Well, I was just going to say, I heard that you guys have a really, really good stage presence. I've seen some videos from you guys live, and you guys do have some pretty good stage presence.
Josh's stage presence is just amazing.
I'm working on it. All right.
Is this that 1x1 square that you're going to 1.5 by
He
1.5?
does that part of the
Basically,
stage
yeah.
really down.
I'm cosplaying as a statue. You know, I'm doing pretty well.
I can see, I can dig it. Yeah, I get it. It makes sense. I think you're going somewhere. It's a great idea. Stick to it. You got this. I believe in you. But
Especially when I had that wall pedal. Oh man, I was glued to that thing.
In reality, though, I feel like Lantry does a very good job of working the stage, and then I
Oh, yeah.
kind of stumble around occasionally.
His dancing
Stumble
during
around.
Hive Mind is awesome.
I can't do it without a guitar on my body.
I got one behind you.
Yeah, there we go.
No excuse. Demonstrate.
So, in my opinion, the band member with the best stage presence is Jason.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
There
That's-
yeah, there
You
you go.
can't see me, that's why, right? I drove really high.
So before a show, do you guys have like a pre-show ritual that you do? I know like we had one band that said they one guy said that he did yoga. We've had somebody else say that they meditate. We've heard some pretty crazy like other crazy stuff, but like do you guys have like a specific like ritual or any like pre-show thing that you like have to do before you go on stage, otherwise you just don't feel right?
No,
Nah.
honestly,
Not really?
Yeah, no. Well, so sometimes there's beer, but most of the time I just have to make sure that I perform with an empty bladder. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm on stage now after this. It's not
empty
it's
colon.
not a good time.
Colon.
I'm going to correct you. You said sometimes there's beer. That needs to be all the time. There's beer, but I
Or
totally
whiskey.
get the
Or-
hey,
Or
whiskey.
whiskey.
I get very angry on whiskey, Rob.
No, you don't.
You haven't seen me drink whiskey.
The
'cause I don't
band,
drink whiskey.
they brought the beer over, so yeah, you got to give them props for that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Me personally, I just go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and it's like, don't fuck up. And, here we go, we're ready.
Stay in your square.
Yes, stay in your square.
That's a new song.
That's the name of the first EP or album,
Stay in
actually.
your
Stay in your square.
What was
There you
the old title we said we were gonna do?
Tuning and Talking.
Tuning and talking.
Oh yeah.
It's the name of our second album,
There you go.
I believe, was how that part of the video went.
Or, can the drummer just shut up for one bit and while we tune?
Can the fucking guitarist stop playing while I'm trying to tune my bass? What's wrong with you?
We're pretty much just writing the album for y'all for free.
You'll get royalties.
I just want a
Don't worry.
shirt. Just give me a shirt. I'll get it. And the shirt says,
So-
I wrote half the songs.
Yeah.
Just put.
Where do you
I
guys-
Need the Band.
I named them.
Where do you guys see yourself in the next 5 years? Are you going big or going home, or little by little?
Oh, I haven't been asked this interview question in a long time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. I come
No,
in,
I
I
mean,
put shit up,
honestly, you know what? I don't know if I've ever really thought about it. We kind of just take things as they come.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we've gotten to open for some bands that I've looked up to for many, many years. I mean, we played with He Is Legend. We played with Maylene and the Sons of Disaster, who personally, I mean, I don't know how well these guys are in, how much these guys are into them. Maybe a little bit more after we played with them, but I never thought I'd get to see that band live. And the fact that we opened for them is absolutely insane. And I mean, if we can even just keep up with that, just opening for some of the bigger touring acts, that would be a lot of fun. But personally, I've made plenty of connections around the country just randomly, whether it be through Facebook or I've gone. There's a festival I go to in Alabama pretty frequently called Furnace Fest.
Yes.
This year is supposed to be the last one. We'll see
That's what I've
if that's
heard,
true
too.
or not.
Didn't they say that about the year before too? That year.
They said that the very first time. They said it was going to be one and done because it was a thing back in like 2000 and 2001. And they brought it back from the dead, and then COVID happened and they postponed it for a year and whatever. But I mean, if we could ever get to something even of that caliber, which is still fairly underground, I would be very content. I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody. I don't know. I don't think we've ever really talked about a 5-year plan.
Not
I mean,
at all.
let alone 2 months. You know, it's kind of a just. Hey guys, I'm free now. Let's do something. As we're getting older, it's more and more difficult. But I have an absolute blast doing it. And we took a little bit off for probably the last couple of years. We hadn't done very much, and getting back into it, even just playing this handful of shows that we have, has just been an absolute blast. And I missed it so much. And I'm just glad to be doing it with these guys that I'm proud to call my bandmates, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and like that first year back in 2022, like watching us really go from, like our first show was open mic night, like we signed up, we showed up, we did our show, and then from there we picked it up, and then by the end of the year, and exactly 1 year later, because we started in November of 2021. 1 year later, 2022 November, we were opening for He Is Legend, and like that was a huge motivation boost. Like showing up, being able to say like, hey, we opened for this band that's been around.
It's good for the resume.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like right before that, in October, we did a small festival in San Marcos for Halloween. That was. It was like 30 bands, something like that.
Yeah,
There was a lot of people there.
Wow.
There was a lot of people there, and it was a fantastic night. And like,
That was Ragnar.
no,
No,
that
no.
was Lights and Sounds.
It was the Irish pub
yeah.
in San Marcos.
Oh,
And like the fact that we did all that in our first year, like our very first year, was an eye opener. I thought of it as just like a fun hobby. I'm finally get to play with friends, we get to go out and do something, have a little fun, and then it picked up, and like we actually got a little somewhere, and it was a bit of an eye opener. It was a huge motivation boost, and I loved every second of it. As
That is awesome.
As far as the 5-year plan, honestly, if we can just keep going where we're going right now, I'd be happy.
We need to record is what we need.
That's the main thing. We just want to get the stuff we have recorded.
Yeah, it's time to get your brand out.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is.
Exactly.
You could have the best product, but if you don't,
if we're not selling it,
exactly, it's collecting dust, on the shelf. What's the point?
Yeah.
On there. So,
well, we're only getting younger.
Yeah.
Me too.
So I do have one last question for you guys. If you could give advice to anybody who kind of, looks up to you guys, somebody younger, kids that are like, hey, we want to do what you guys do. What's the best advice you would give them for them wanting to start a band and do what you guys do?
Perry's the youngest, so I'm gonna hand this off to him to start it. I don't know what.
I would say practice your instrument. That's a really big one. Practice your instrument and don't do it for money.
Yeah, that's a given.
Absolutely.
I mean, personally, I'm a big advocate for the and not to be cliche, but I mean, Nike's got it down. Just do it. I mean, seriously, like for everybody that's sitting there at home thinking like, oh, maybe, like, just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off, and you're going to feel a lot better once you're, just force yourself to do it. Oh, I don't think I'm ready for a show. Just go play one. Who knows? You could be the next.
Hit the open mics.
You hit the open mics. You could be the next biggest thing. You'll never know if you don't try.
And I agree with that. My closest friend for the longest time, in high school, we did jazz band together. And so, when it came out, when we got out of high school, I was like, hey, let's do something. Like, let's find someone who plays drums. You play bass. I play guitar. Like, let's just do it. And I guess he had no confidence in it. I don't know, but he just was never really up for it. And so when I finally met these guys, it fit perfectly, As for like the advice, just have fun. Like when we played Brick, I had an equipment malfunction. I had a cord that just completely died on me.
Oh no.
And when I was messing with it, the part that actually goes into the amp completely fell off, like the inject. And so I was super pissed about it. I was pissed that entire set. I was like low-key embarrassed. And like looking back, I'm just like, I should have just had fun with it. It was a little malfunction. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, just go out and have fun. Like, if you fuck up, you fuck up. Oh, well. Just have a good time with it and just enjoy your time with your friends.
But you still got that professionalism.
Yeah, of course.
And I understand. Yeah, but you're right. Have fun for sure.
Absolutely. And just so if there is anybody out there watching who are some up and coming bands, if you're in the Tallahassee area at Legacy at the Riverfront, they're doing locals only shows every third Friday. It's like a big open mic, and they have a house kit, everything you need there. So if you want to play, you just got to play your originals. Just sign up and
should all take a trip. I've been trying to get there.
You said open mic. I'm telling you. Yeah. And anybody, if you happen to be coming to the Tallahassee area and you're a band, sign up. You can do locals only nights supported by 2 of our radio stations here in town.
Right. I know you're one of the older distinguished gentlemen. What would be, I guess, if your advice as one of the more mature musicians?
Just stick with it. There's really nothing else. There's no easy formula. You just gotta practice and have fun is the biggest thing. I think that gets the ball rolling, and once that ball is rolling, that momentum keeps you going forward. Listen to good music all the time. That's helps you, get inspired. have good bandmates. You know,
Yeah,
That's very important.
That's the big one.
That's
I don't feel that there's any attitudes in our band.
Right, yeah.
I think we all get along.
Never
perfectly.
seen that with y'all. Well, no.
There's a lot of goofing off going on, but there's also a lot of when we start writing like that when we made those 2 songs, we were kind of like, well, actually we had a show that day or the next day.
The next week.
It was the next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was the only rehearsal we had, and we knocked out those 2 songs. And was that when I was late?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I got caught in Fiesta traffic.
Oh
And
yeah.
we had to,
We party here in San Antonio.
They shut down the roads around the venue we were playing at.
Yeah, it was
that was
amazing.
a good show, but that was the Rock Box. And we
Yeah.
always sound pretty good at the Rock Box. And just stick with it. There's no other
Yes.
formula.
Shout out to the sound guy at the Rock Box. That guy was fantastic.
Yeah. No, you do some good sound for sure. I think I'm gonna go see. I think it's not.
You're gonna see Moonshot on Friday.
Oh, yeah. So if I go to y'all show Friday, you're gonna go to mine Saturday.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Actually, that was the plan originally.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got called out.
I make no problem.
I'll
I
do
don't
my
live
best.
there.
I'm on board. Yeah,
No, he's
it's
off the
live too.
record.
Yeah, I think out of all the people who have been to our shows, besides like obviously significant others like with Lantry's fiance and Jason's
Yeah,
wife,
his fiance Adrian and
and it's Adrian and
Adrian is borderline my other significant other. My best friend has been to, I'd say, like 90% of our shows, but I mean, I've known the guy for 20 years. You know, it's like,
yeah,
I
it's
basically see him every day anyway. He's like, oh, I'm already here. I might as well come along.
it's our friend our friend Adrian and Jason right here. He has been to at least 80% of our shows.
I try. Try to support the local in there. Try to
That's
put
right.
a shiner on that stage for Landry, and
That's
so he doesn't have to go pee pee.
He's holding the bottle.
Like I was like, you got a pretty good, all those beer bottles I see, you hold it down, on stage.
Yeah, until the
Yeah.
show ends, and then you see him like gone.
Go.
He just runs.
That's awesome, guys. Like I see definitely the mutual respect amongst y'all. We see the talent. So, I'm just very excited that y'all got to be here and share y'all's band and y'all's story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
I
for the-
appreciate you letting us.
And thank you guys in Florida, too. We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
so
Absolutely.
definitely, I don't see myself not making Friday show. So I'll do my best on that, and we'll party. That's for sure.
We'll be there.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
Really?
I know.
There we go.
Seriously? I was going to say, what had to take 2? Ready and go.
What had happened was
what happened was, so for anybody who is in Texas, one more time, what shows do you have coming up, and where can people find you guys on social media?
So we've got a show this Friday at the Rock Box. Doors are at 6. That's all I'm going to say. Come early, stay late. I mean, there to support everybody, not just us. But that aside, I mean, be on the lookout. We've got, like we were saying, we're planning on recording pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Moonshot SATX on both of those. And that's about it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So make
you
sure
got-
you guys check them
We're
out.
getting the TikTok.
Oh, and YouTube, of course.
Yeah,
Hello.
there's
Yeah.
the YouTube.
You can't forget our YouTube.
Moonshot TX, all one word. And
Oh, yeah.
you can see us screwing around at rehearsals and stuff.
Do it. Do it. Go check them out. Like all their stuff. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube. Get them some likes. Get their social media presence going. And yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on Off the Record.
Yes,
I'm
thank
sorry I
you.
was late, but it was awesome meeting you guys.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Right.
And for all things Off the Record, beacons.ai /off the record pod. And Rob,
all the record podcast.